Guys, what's going on? It's Ultimus. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kingslayers. These are the Assassination Rogue Artifact weapons. Assassination has always been probably the one rogue spec that's appealed to me most. I go back and forth on debating between it and Subtlety, but I've never really gotten very far because I get distracted by my warrior. The highest level rogue is like maybe 87, I think, something like that. Like I got him all the way up there and got bored with him, deleted him, and then restored him once Blizzard brought the character restore functionality. Some lore bits here behind the Kingslayers. These are daggers that belong to Garona, who is a pretty lore-heavy character. She was manipulated quite heavily by Gul'dan and Cho'Gall. She assassinated the former king of Stormwind. All that crazy stuff. There's actually some really good lore on her as an actual character. I know Noble does a really good job of keeping that a really concise and clear-cut story to tell if you want to check out his channel. Though I'm sure most of you know who Noble is in the first place, and you don't need me talking about him at all. But since I'm referencing his videos, I feel like it's appropriate to, of course, say where I'm getting them from. So there's there's some crazy stuff going on with Garona. So however we get these daggers, that's yet to be seen, but they're some of the sickest looking daggers. I will just pop over to our appearances real quick and just check it out real quick. I mean, look at this thing. That's one of the skins, but like that first skin right there alone, it's ruthless looking. It's one of the most savage looking daggers I think I've seen. I mean, just even some of the different skins here, just crazy. I don't know. I think it looks pretty sick. It's my favorite out of all the rogue artifact weapons, I will say that. But I do want to talk about strictly talents this time around and not the appearances, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Grasp of Gul'dan. When you mutilate the target, the shadowy essence of Gul'dan has a chance to lash out of your daggers and latch onto your target, dealing 1 damage and healing you for that amount every 2 for 10 seconds. I don't quite understand what all the typos are about, but the impression I'm getting is whenever you mutilate, which is pretty much like your main heavy hitting attack more or less as an assassination rogue, aside from finishing moves, you're going to have a chance for the essence of Gul'dan to lash out. It attaches to the target you hit. It's going to deal X amount of damage, we'll say, and it heals you for the amount that it does. So it's a direct damage to heal. So whatever amount of damage you do with it, that's what it's going to heal you for every... I'm not really understanding what the for every 2 for 10 seconds means. So maybe I'm just being silly and can't quite understand that. If you got an idea of what that might mean, please let me know in the comment section. But either way, it just sounds to me like it's going to be a straight heal. They did mention that it's interesting that, I mean, lore-wise it makes sense. I guess at first I was like, that doesn't make any sense because Subtlety is more about using some of the shadow magics in their kills. But since these are from Garona and Garona was heavily influenced by Gul'dan and Cho'Gall, that makes sense as well. So I'm not going to gripe on that one, whatever. Hopefully the tooltip on that gets corrected soon. I was going to do the Dreadblades for the new Rogue spec, Outlaw, but one of the talents was completely bugged and not even showing up its tooltip, so I couldn't finish it. And I didn't want to do a video with a missing tooltip. That just seemed silly. So we'll go ahead and keep on moving. Over to Toxic Blades. Envenom damage is increased by 3% up to 10%. Envenom is one of your finishing moves there, but if you play a rogue, you're familiar with that and don't need me telling you that. Master Alchemist. Crimson Vial restores an additional 5% of your maximum health over 1 second. So it buffs up to 15% over 1 second. And I think that 1 second is wrong. It should be a different number, but that's to be determined, I suppose. Surge of Toxins. Offensive finishing moves increase poison damage you deal to the target by 10% for 5 seconds. Oh, wow. So all of your finishing moves, they basically put a debuff on the target that increases the damage you deal to the target with poisons by 10%. That's kind of crazy. I feel like, because 10% isn't like a crazy buff, but I think over time, if you have consistently, your poisons keep going into the target that are doing 10% more damage than normal, that's going to stack up quickly. Bag of Tricks. When you envenom a target, you have a chance to smash a giant vial of poison at the target's location, creating a pool of acidic death that deals 10% damage to all enemies within it. Interesting. So it's almost like giving Assassination Rogues a death and decay is kind of the impression I'm getting, except it's an RNG thing where whenever you envenom a target. Envenom seems to be, if I'm not mistaken, and even from my experience playing a little bit of an Assassination Rogue up to level 86 or 7 or so, Envenom is your main your main finishing move that you want to use. And so it makes sense that Bag of Tricks would be connected to Envenom, and it's going to have a chance to proc this Pool of Acidic Death, as it calls itself, at the feet of the target. I'm not sure what this deals 10% damage to all enemies, like 10% of what damage. It gives us no baseline that is based off, so I feel like that might be a typo. We'll see. But either way, it has a chance to proc an AoE under the target's feet, which isn't all that exciting since that kind of stuff is usually pretty easy to step out of, though. I guess if you're fighting a rogue, they can kind of just stun lock you whenever you want. So, I don't know. Who knows? Either way, I just feel like that's not like the most riveting thing ever, I guess. I mean, poisons will work for rogues. It'd make more sense if it was like a poison gas, not necessarily a pool of... whatever. I'm done nitpicking. Shadow Walker. Reduce the cooldown of Shadow Step by 2 seconds. Up to 4 seconds and 6 seconds fully decked out. Wow. Okay, so that's kind of crazy. Shadow Step. And I believe Shadow Step is only Assassination now. It might be Assassination and Subtlety, but I feel like it was a little more exclusive this time around. Serrated Edge, Mutilate damage is increased by 3, 6, and up to 10% there. And let's check out Urge to Kill really quick before we go up top. Urge to Kill, activating Vendetta refills all of your energy. Oh, that's intense. So just simply activating Vendetta, just all of a sudden there goes your energy just back up the top. So that's another, like, I feel like rogues already have so many ways to reset a fight as it is, and so this is definitely one of those things I think that is going to make it a lot easier for them to set up those resets as well, because you can just start the fight off, boom, full energy again. You have all your energy to lay into the target and, you know, drop your stuns, your poisons, and however else rogues open up on a target properly. It's annoying is what it is, but hey, you know, it's years of rivalry. What can I say? Years of rivalry against rogues. Poison Knives. Fan of Knives causes any targets hit with your deadly poison to take 10% of the remaining deadly poison damage instantly. Interesting. So that's a force bonus damage. Okay, so whenever you use Fan of Knives, any targets that are hit with the deadly poison, so whoever has your deadly poison on them is going to instantly take 10% of the remaining damage that has to yet to tick away. That's kind of cool. I can get behind that. Let's look at Shadow Swiftness here. When you use Shadow Step, the cooldown of Sprint is reset. Oh, dang. Okay. So, again, more just hard resets. From the Shadows, when you declare your Vendetta target, an image of Garona Helferson, I don't know why I had a hard time reading that one, will manifest itself and barrage the target with poison daggers. Oh, dang. So they're really getting behind a lot of these, like, when you do attacks and things, like little shadowy essences or, like, images of things will show up and do things and stuff. I mean, I guess it's cool. I just feel like it might be like the whole conal thing that we're seeing with a lot of classes. It's getting a little bit outplayed already, but we'll have to see, I suppose. I feel like when I try to critique things, I just always feel like, who am I, or what do I know that I should be critiquing this stuff? I just want to kind of look at this and see what has fun. But I can't help but have a few reservations on some of the stuff that we're seeing a lot of, because I feel like too much of a good thing is a bad thing. I don't know. Let's look at Balance Blaze. Mutilate energy cost is reduced by 3, up to 6, up to 10. Master Assassin. Reduce the cooldown of Vendetta by 10 seconds up to 30 seconds. Crazy. Let's look at Poison Knives. Oh, wait, look at that. We should put the talents in there. Oh, that does stack up to 30%. I should have clicked on that earlier. I'm a dummy. So, Fan of Knives causes any target hit with your deadly poison to take 30% of the remaining deadly poison damage. Wow. Okay. Crazy. And then Gushing Wound Rupture damage increased by 3%, up to 6% and 10%. Embrace the Shadows. Damage taken is reduced by 3%, up to 6%, 10%. Pretty standard there, as we've seen with other classes. And last but not least here is Blood of the Assassinated. Rupture has the chance to infect your target with the blood of enemies slain by your daggers. Oh, wow. For until canceled. While the target has infected blood, 10% of all damage you deal to it will be stored up and unleashed when the blood corruption ends. Oh, snap. Okay. Wow. So Rupture has a chance to proc this effect to where it infects the target with the blood. Basically, we have a bunch of bloody daggers. We haven't cleaned them, so we're given all sorts of diseases, hepatitis, scurvy, you know, all that kinds of crazy stuff. And, it sits there until it's canceled. Targets affected. Blood. 10% of all damage you deal to it will be stored up and unleashed when the blood corruptions. Okay, so whatever damage you do to it while this is on them, it's going to be stored up and stored up and stored up, and then when it ends, or I suppose when you cancel it, then it's going to be doing 10% of all that damage stored up. So potentially you could store up some pretty crazy damage. Like, I feel like that's going to get out of hand in PvE, won't it? That seems like that would get out of hand really quickly in PvE. Because it just sits there until you cancel it. I don't know. Whatever. What do I know about PvE? If any of you guys PvEs, let me know what you think about that one. Especially if you're rogues. I'm curious. But I think that's going to do it for this video. Overall, Assassination, to me, has always, like I said before, been kind of the more appealing out of all of the specs. I feel like if I always wanted to play a stealth class, I wanted to play the Assassin type class. Subtlety is definitely fun, though. It has its place, and it is very strong. But it's one of those things where I feel like, even though Frost is kind of like the go-to favorite spec for Death Knights, I've always just kind of preferred Unholy. I don't know why. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to follow on Facebook if you haven't already. Twitter, Instagram, all the socials we got going on out there. You can find links to them throughout the channel, or at least the address where you can find me. I pretty much post daily on everything there. Facebook is great for this because it lets you know when I've posted a video. I'm always posting links there for them. So you're not sitting around and looking and saying, oh, I don't know if this guy posts anymore. And then if you're on Facebook, you're like, hey, look, there's a video. Ultimus, he made a video today. Sweet, we can watch it. Hey, cool, get the popcorn. Actually, I don't know if you watch popcorn or eat popcorn while, watch popcorn while you eat your movies. Delicious. Oh, my goodness, we need to end this now before we say anything else dumb. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.